These are 3 things that I learned at Team USA camp. Number 1, I have been working on bowling two-handed this past year. You guys have traveled on this journey with me. If you haven't already, check out the regional vlogs. I've been bowling really well two-handed. I switched in February. I came into Team USA camp wanting to learn as much as possible so that I can take my game to the next level. Interestingly enough, one thing the coach told me, throw the backup ball. So if you struggle with your shoulder and your arm coming over the top like this as a two-handed bowler, work on throwing some backup balls. And that's exactly what I did. So we didn't have a lot of player development type days at camp this year because the team was selected prior to camp to go to Hong Kong. So it was a lot of scrimmaging, you know, the Hong Kong, they were called the Hong Kong 6 versus the other half of the team. So we were doing a lot of scrimmages. So there wasn't a lot of player development, but the day we did, backup ball, that was the first thing. Let me throw a backup ball for you guys and then we'll talk about why. All right, so it's obviously still a work in progress. I would like to use it one day, but it's not really for competition use at the moment. So if we think about it, we get to the top of the swing and we throw a bad shot and it's over the top, everything kind of rotates this way. If you're throwing a backup ball, you can't throw a backup ball if everything's rotating this way. It has to stay in and everything has to come this way. And the craziest part about throwing a backup ball to me, the track stays on the same side of the ball. That's very interesting. I don't know why. If somebody wants to explain that to me that knows all the physics stuff, by all means, help us out. Helps you keep your shoulder down and back, keeps you working the inside. So almost every time I warm up now, I start with backup balls. We're just scratching the surface here. We're gonna move into tip number 2. How to increase your rev rate throwing a backup ball. I think we have one of the most talented bowlers in the world, maybe that you don't know of, on Team USA. He's been on the team since last year, so 2 years now. This is his 2nd year. On the right side lane, he throws it sick. But the even sicker part, and the crazy thing to me, this kid's uber talented. His backup ball is almost just as good as his normal two-handed style. Yeah, he just graduated college, very good player. His name is Julian Salinas. Shout out King Julian. How do I increase my rev rate? Because before I was just trying to throw the cutter, my hand was just cutting across the ball. It would hurt my fingers sometimes, so I just wouldn't do it. But he taught me how to increase my rev rate and get my ball rolling a little more forward. All right, I need a better ball for this. But anyways, here, I'm gonna give you the secret. But before I give you this secret, if you guys wanna learn majority of my secrets, check out howtobowl.com, link in the description below if you guys wanna improve your game and take everything to the next level. Take your bowling journey to the next level. If you wanna improve your journey to bowling with the greats. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm a little delusional right now. As you're coming through the ball, he told me, as it's working its way this way, your hand, you're gonna lift up. Once you get to the kind of the center part of your hand rotating, feel like you're lifting up. Obviously, the faster you do that, the higher your rev rate is gonna be because rev rate is all about how underneath the ball you can get, from point A to point B, and how fast you can get from point A to point B. So how far under it is your point A, and how fast can you go from A to B? This is the house pattern, by the way, so I'm probably gonna have to move pretty far into the lane. We bowled on a lot of oil and a lot of flat patterns at camp, so I was able to play 5 for most of them. That's pretty good. Pain. Clearly not the right ball. That layout might be a little too strong. So I'm coming to find that my backup ball layouts are way stronger than my normal layouts. The track is on the same side, but I'm tracking almost under my fingers, so it's pushing the pin way further out. I think most of my bowling balls backup are probably 1 to 2 inches. If they're hooking too much on the gutter and I have to move this way, they're gonna look pretty bad. Again, hey, if you guys are enjoying the jerseys I'm wearing on the channel, efx.co has got the threads for you. Check them out, link down below, DAT for 10% off. All right, I'm gonna throw one more just cause. One more backup ball. I gotta throw 1 strike backup. Maybe. All right, I'm not gonna force that ball to work. Tang tip, I guess. If a ball doesn't wanna work, don't try to make it work. Throw the one that just works. All right, tip number 3, it's gonna be something that seems very simple. Not a lot of people think about. It's gonna be regarding your feet. Check out the feet. So a lot of bowlers don't really know how much they drift. They don't even know if they slide in the same spot. We did some worksheets where we had 2 different drills actually. So one was we stood on a different dot and then we moved, after 2 shots, we would move. We'd move dots. And based on that, we were trying to figure out how much we drifted based on what part of the lane we were playing. And that really opened our eyes to, okay, when I play this part of the lane, I drift this much. When I play this part of the lane, maybe I drift a little less. Always try your best to post your shots and look down at your feet. Look at where you slide. So I line up with the middle of my foot, my left foot, and I use my left foot to line up because that's the foot that I slide with. So wherever let's say I'm standing on 30, if I know I drift 5, hopefully I'm ending up on 35. Always pay attention to where you're sliding. Standing on 35, let's see where we end up. I can strike on the right side. So here I slid, we'll call it 34.5. And I know I typically slide about 4 to 5, so that's pretty close in that range. I need to get that down to like a 1 number. It can't be 4 to 5. It needs to be 4 or 5. It's gotta be more consistent. So that was eye-opening for me. Awareness is huge, by the way. If you guys don't know you're doing a certain something, really hard to fix it, really hard to work on it. I didn't know that some shots I would drift a little less, and every time I drift a little less, so if I was intending on sliding 35, so I kind of know where I need to set up. So I set up on 31 if I anticipate sliding 35, because I know I drift 4. Sometimes I would slide maybe 34.5 or 34, and I noticed on those shots, I started over the topping them more. So it kind of makes sense, right? So now I'm sliding more back in front of my body, or something's happening, like I'm not creating that slot for my swing to drop through. So if my body's in the way, my arm's gonna go around it. That was a very eye-opening experience for me. The second worksheet we did, it was intended targets. We set targets we wanted to hit, break point, arrows, where we want to slide. So based on that, you know, you kind of figure out, okay, where do I need to stand? Like I said, if I'm standing 31 and trying to slide 35, let's see what happens. And then obviously for the targets, we need Specto, which we don't have on today, but it was really cool. So I slid 36 there. He gave us a half a board of tolerance for it to be maximum points. So it was a game. It's like bowling a full game, but it's based on your execution. So you would get 5 points for hitting your target, 5 points for sliding in the right spot within 0.5, and you also got the entire board to hit. So if you were trying to hit 8, you would get 8.0 to 8.9. So if you're trying to hit 8, you're realistically trying to hit 8.5 because that's the center of the board. So all that would add up to a frame. So it'd be 30 points for a frame. And then once you get through to the end, you get a score for execution and then obviously your numerical score. So my numerical score would have been 236. And based on my execution and the point totals, I shot 248. So I actually bowled better than my score execution wise, but it could go the other way around. And the coolest part about this game, it can show you kind of what's happening right now. If you're executing better than your ball reaction, or if your ball reaction is better than you're executing, I'm always on the side of having better ball reaction so that my execution doesn't have to be perfect. Obviously, if you pair 2 and 2 together, you have great ball reaction and great execution, good things are gonna happen. I would like for that first number to be higher than that second number every time. Now, does that mean that you're bowling really good? Not necessarily. It just means your ball's doing the right thing for what you're bowling on. If that first number score is higher than your second. If you're purely working on your physical game and you want to just hit target, slide in the right spot, you want that bottom number to be as high as possible. I think the highest score I saw was 273, which Chris Vine, one of the best players in the world. No surprises there. If you guys are interested in playing this game, definitely check out howtobowl.com because we're gonna be implementing this game. Shout out to head coach Bryan O'Keefe. He's the one that came up with this game. Let's try to slide in the right spot this time. I'm gonna throw one more shot, see where we end up, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. Not a great shot. Not a horrible shot. So there I was 35. So I slid in the intended target. The result was different though, right? So I slid one board different. One shot barely cut out the 710. That one 4-pinned on a bad shot. Maybe the one that I threw before was a better shot because it cleared the slot, dropped into the slot perfect. Everything stayed online. That shot felt like one of those over the top, miss up the lane shots. So maybe my drift should be 5. So that's something to balance, something to work on, something to think about. But with that, those are my 3 tips. So we have the backup ball to stay more compact as a 2-hander. Keep everything nice and tight because we want to avoid the over the top miss. That's probably the most common 2-handed miss. If you want to increase your rev rate 2-handed, when you get to the center, lift up. Really pay attention to where you're sliding because that's going to tell you what's going on in the lanes, what's happening. Because if you are throwing a bunch of strikes and all of a sudden you miss, but you miss because you slid in a different spot, now you're making a move off of a miss, and now you might miss again on the other side of it. It's all about educated guesses in this game. There are no absolutes. It always depends, unfortunately. But if you guys enjoyed this video, really appreciate it if you guys hit the subscribe button. If you guys want to see more content just like this, either check out howtobowl.com or let me know in the comment section down below if you guys want to see stuff like this. More than happy to give you a little bit of sugar here and there. But thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.